Hi guys, Mrs. Hibbinger here. I'm getting ready to start chapter 18 of Monster Street, The Boy Who Cried Werewolf. Chapter 18, Home Invasion. After Max's nap, Gramps made a big breakfast, bacon for himself and eggs and chocolate chip pancakes for Max. The two of them worked in the garden for the rest of the day, pulling up weeds, pruning the vegetables, and getting ready for harvest. All the while, Grammy rested in the house. Remember, she didn't feel very good. As Max worked, he thought about the werewolf he had stabbed. He wondered if it was lying dead somewhere in the woods, or had it made it back to its shack. And then his thoughts turned to Jade and her father. He couldn't figure out why they had left in such a hurry. Had they really decided to go on a vacation at the last minute, or had a hermit frightened them? That evening, just after sunset, Max sat down on the porch with a warm mug of pumpkin cider. He glanced over his shoulder to make sure no one was watching, and then he lifted his father's diary from the pocket in front of his shirt. He wanted to know everything that his father knew about the beast, and if there were any more clues about his experiment. Max hoped that Gramps and Grammy wouldn't notice that the diary was missing from the chest. Just as he was about to open the first page, he looked across the pumpkin patch at the Howler's house and saw a buttery light glowing in one of the downstairs windows. Maybe they came back early, he thought. Just then, he heard Gramps' voice call to him from outside the cabin. "It's getting dark, boy. 10 more minutes, then you better come inside," the old man said, "and it's almost time for your surprise." Max reasoned that if he went back inside the house with Gramps, he might be locked up in his bedroom again for the night. But he needed to talk to Jade, and he knew this might be his only chance. He put the diary back in the front pocket of his shirt and snuck off the porch. A moment later, Max was rushing through the pumpkin patch. The autumn air was licking his face, and the scent of fallen leaves and pumpkin dust fuming into his nostrils. When he arrived on the Howler's front porch, he saw that the light was coming from the living room. But it didn't look like anyone was home, and Max wondered if the light had accidentally been left on. Curious, he knocked on the door. No one came. He knocked again. Still no answer. He decided to try the doorknob. When he turned it, to his great surprise, the door creaked open. The possibility of entering a house without being invited felt illegal. He stepped inside anyway and looked around. The air was warm, and he heard the heater whizzing in the nearby hallway. There he saw dozens of framed photos hanging on the wall, including a few of Jade's mother holding her when she was a baby. Then he saw that there were lights on in not just one, but several rooms. Maybe the Howlers forgot to turn them off before they left this morning, Max supposed. But as he searched through the house, he found more peculiar things. The pillows on the couch were all out of place. A cup of cold coffee sat on a wood lampstand next to an open book, and an antique lamp was shattered on the ground next to an overturned chair, as if there had been a struggle of some kind. Strangest of all, 2 plates sat on the dinner table, and they were both full of food. A fork was stuck into a pile of mashed potatoes, which had hardened like toasted meringue, and the water glasses were still full. It was almost as if the Howlers had left for their vacation right in the middle of a meal. Either that, or they had simply vanished into thin air. Well, maybe they heard the werewolf howling last night and decided to leave right away, Max thought, searching for a logical explanation. Max then heard an odd sound coming from the nearby closet in the entryway. Scratching, desperate, spine-tingling scratching. It sounded like someone trapped in a coffin trying to claw their way out. He walked toward the sound. The scraping was coming from inside the closet. Was it Jade? Her father? Or perhaps... Max held his breath. Then he reached for the handle and turned it.